Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Camp at Home in our after-school hours. My name is Miss Allie, and today we're going to be making these really awesome and really cute, adorable penguins out of these, our paper rolls that I'm sure we all have a lot of right now. Today was our first day of snow, and it's the first day of December, so I feel like it's officially winter and time to make our adorable, cute winter projects. So we're starting off with some really cute penguins. Woo! So good chance to use some of your recycled materials, scrap paper, toilet paper rolls. So I'm going to set up my artboard and we can get started. Alright, so just give me 1 second here. I have our little penguin friends here. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's our little penguin friends. I have 2 of them. And I have one that is more winter style, and I have one that is more got some funky hair going on. And they sit up like this, but for the purpose of this video, it makes more sense to have them like here. But I will keep them like this. And what we are going to need for this video today is some paper. And we have some recommended colors. So black, our penguins are black, so I just have some black construction paper here. But it can be, you don't have to make your penguin black if you don't want to. It can be any color. I also recommend having some white paper. And if you notice, I kind of have not full sheets of white paper. And then either some orange or yellow, so whatever color you have. And then I also have some scrap colorful paper here on the side, just in case I'll need that. I'm also going to use scissors and a glue stick with me today. And I always think it's helpful to have like some sort of marker or crayon or colored pencil with you if you need to do some outlines or anything like that. So those are basic materials. There'll be some adjustments that you can make along the way, which I'll tell you as we go along. But for right now, let's get started. I'm going to push these guys up a little bit. And of course, we're going to need our paper roll, and this is what we are going to start with to make our fabulous paper roll penguins for the winter season. So, what we need to do first with our piece of black paper, if you have a normal 8.5 by 12, like the normal sheet of construction paper, I think it's helpful to fold your paper in half like this because it gets closer to the size of the paper that you're going to be using, like of the paper that you need to cover it without using a lot of excess. So I might actually do that because then it is a lot closer. If you want to measure out the length of your paper roll, you could. So if you wanted to measure out this distance, you could to cut out that exact piece of paper. I usually just kind of eye it and cut off excess as I go. So I'm kind of going to look and see, make sure I have enough paper, and I do. So I am going to first take my glue stick, and I'm just going to glue down this edge, and I'm not going to go all the way to the top because I know I'm going to have a little bit of excess paper there. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to place my paper roll on the paper here. And I have it lined up to this edge of the paper. And I'm going to try and press this down really good to get that glue on there. And I'm just going to try and stay on the edge of the paper roll. Cover my paper until it goes all the way around. And what I'm going to need to do is actually try and keep this tight, and I'm going to glue again this edge. And if it's tricky, if you're having a hard time like keeping it tight, or if it's like kind of rolling away from you, if you need help, like you hold it and someone glue it, always a good idea to ask like an older sibling or a parent to, assist you in your art projects. It's always good to get everyone involved. So I always try and push this down, really make sure the glues hold tight. And so then I can see, like as you can see if you're like looking up, you can see that there's excess paper, right? So sometimes what I like to do is just, it's almost like wrapping a present. So I kind of like cut that excess off. And you can do one of two things here. You can fold the paper in, or you can cut this extra paper off, which is usually what I do. And then you have scraps. So if you're doing another project, you can always use these little scraps of black paper. I know if you follow along any of our other CAP videos, you know that we love scraps here at CAP, so we use them a lot. So it'll go like that. So then I have my outline. If I could see, oh, I might want to like re-glue that area, I could do that really quick. And do that. I also think with this project, when you're cutting scraps, I think it's helpful to move those aside or even throw those away as we go. Okay, so I have the base of my penguin. So I now need the belly. So penguins have this nice big white belly. So I like to cut sort of this like half moon shape. I have a piece of white paper here. I'm actually just going to cut off a chunk so I can save the rest of that white paper. Have this white paper, and I'm actually just going to cut sort of like a half crescent, half oval shape. Sort of looks like a hill, you know, like this. So I'm going to cut that, and that's going to go, that's my belly. So you can make it as wide as you want it. I try and make, so the crease from your black paper, I try and make that the very back. So I try to put everything on the direct opposite side. And I'm going to glue this down so it lines up with the bottom here. This again, I'm using black and white for my penguin, but if you wanted to use some funky, if you want to make a funky colored penguin, you could use any colors that you want. If you want to make it green and pink, or blue and yellow, or whatever kind of colored penguin you want. So here's the front of my penguin. So I now got to make a couple things. So I like to make the eyes. I like that to be my next step. So if you want, you can take, so again, piece of white scrap paper. I like kind of cutting it down to a smaller shape and then folding it in half. So I kind of have this white, small, like, piece of paper. I'm going to just cut a circle. So you can draw out your circle first with pencil and then cut it, or you can just do what I do and cut the circle like this. So now I can look and say, okay, do I like that size eye? I might make it a little smaller. And the reason I did that, fold it in half, is that I just made the same shape twice without having to cut extra. And they're not perfect. They work out. I mean, I think they're pretty okay. I don't necessarily need them to be perfect circles. But again, you could draw them out or trace something to cut them if you want. So this is the first part of my eye. If you notice that I have in this one, I have the black part of my eye, so like the pupil. This is sort of like a common cartoon aspect, making these little cuts, and that's super easy to do if you wanted your penguin to kind of have that aspect. So you can take, again, another small piece of black paper, so you probably have some scraps over to your side. Again, take a small piece of paper, fold it in half, and you can cut an oval or a circle. And again, it has to be smaller than the two white circles you just cut out. Okay, so if these are definitely smaller, and so then I can always double check too. I can take one of my white circles, place them on top, and I can decide if I want them smaller or bigger than that. And so I might actually make them a little bit smaller, because I made these eyes a little smaller too. You can also, instead of cutting out your own eyes, if you wanted to use like googly eyes, you totally could do that and make some sort of like googly-eyed penguin. That would be fun. So you can just do something like this, small black circle. Okay, and then if you wanted to make that cut, it's just like making a small like triangle on the inside. It's almost like making a little Pac-Man. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those in the middle of my white, for my white circle for my eye. Just glue that down. And you can make any kind of eyes that you want. They also don't have to be circles if you want to make them more like ovals or really big eyes or cartoon eyes or however you want to do it. So I am going to glue these on here. Okay? And you can either glue right on, or you can glue the back of your paper. That's up to you. I know they're going to go there. So I'm taking my eyes, and I'm going to press down really good to make sure it sticks really good. And you can put them close together, far apart, one looking up, one looking down. That's up to you. Okay. So now we need a beak. That's our fun little triangle. So this is where you can decide if you have yellow or if you have orange, or again, you can use what other color. I have orange accents in this one and yellow accents in this one. So I might use, I might go ahead and use yellow this time. I have some yellow here. And again, I'm going to cut out some, just sort of like an extra strip. And I like to make our lives easier, so I always cut off small piece, fold it in half. And again, this is where, because we're making the same shape, I am just cutting a triangle, but you can draw it out first. And see how this triangle sort of makes a beak. And the reason we fold it in half is so that it sort of sticks out, right? I can kind of open it. So now when we glue this on, it's sort of like a more 3D beak. See, like that? So I also glue the bottom part of your triangle. Like that. Glue that on there. Make sure it's stuck on there really good. That way our beak kind of opens up like that. I glue that right underneath the nose. Okay? So now what else do we need? We need feet and we need some wings. So, wings. This is where saving your scrap black paper is a good thing. So, again, depending on what size you have or how big you want your wings to be, you might have a piece like this. And again, folding it in half so we only have to cut the shape out once. We don't have to cut anything out twice. And I just go ahead and make this sort of leaf or wing shape. You can make any sort of shape wing that you want. I kind of do something like this. I do something like this shape, and I did it twice, so I have two of the same ones, and so when I stick them on here, that'll be kind of like this. You can make a different shape if you want to. It's totally up to you. You can make them really big or small. And the nice thing about it is if you make them too big, then you can always just cut them down, no problem. And then I always glue them right next to the white part, the white body part, so it's kind of in the middle. Kind of make sure it's stuck down really good. Glue that top part. And again, do the same thing. I always try and match them up, but I'm not that worried if they're exactly at the same spot on both sides. Okay. So I'm going to stick that there. And of course, we need some cute little feet. So, put that aside. That's what we have so far. We need some cute little feet. So I used yellow for the beak, so I'm probably going to make, you can make yellow feet, or maybe this one I'll make orange feet because I did yellow and orange in my other two. So again, piece of orange, fold it in half. And this part can be a little challenging, so sometimes I like to draw this part out. Your feet, I like kind of making these rounded feet, so I sort of do like this sort of shape. And I like kind of making really big feet because I think they look kind of funny. And I know that I'm probably going to fold it there. And then I always add this extra tab, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm going to keep it folded while I'm cutting, so I'm cutting two. And I kind of do this shape. You could go for more of a triangle shape, or you could go for smaller feet. That's really up to you. Okay, so I have this shape. And I'm going to, and the reason that I made it so it had some extra space is so that I'm going to flip it over so I don't see the marker. And I'm going to fold this part in. Okay, so the part where it looks like it's almost flat, I'm going to fold this in. And I'm going to do that on both feet. And this is just going to make it easier to attach to our penguin friend. Okay, so that fold, so it's almost like I folded them so it looks like I'm making an L shape if they're sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the front part of that like fold or that tab or the leg part, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to glue that part. And then that glue is going to stick to the inside of our penguin. Okay, and I can just fold up while it's gluing, and I'm setting it in there. Almost makes it look like the guy's sitting with the legs up. And I'm just making sure that's folded, and that's glued really good, and I just bend it down. And we have the cutest little penguin. He's standing right there. Now, at this point, you could call it good, you could call it done, or you could add some other details. So if you notice in mine, I added some hair in this one, some kind of funky, crazy hair. It looks like kind of looks like the top of emperor penguins. This one I went with a winter theme. I added a little scarf and a little hat with a little pom-poms, so sort of like those pom-pom hats. So you could do sort of like that. You could add a bow tie if you wanted. So like, let's say I just quickly wanted to do that. Maybe I just want to add, maybe I just wanted to add just a cute little, I don't know, just a cute little bow tie. You could do that. Do something like that. You could add one up here, be like a girly bow. Or you could just leave it as is. Or you could even draw on your penguin, whatever you want to do. So at the end part, you can decide what details you want to add. If you want to add like again, like a bow tie or hair or hats or glove and a scarf or anything that you want. Or if you want to draw on him or add some glitter, anything that you want to do. Okay. So once you get to that point, you of course have to clean up. So make sure all your scraps, the ones that are usable, I always keep aside because like I said before, we love reusing scraps that are usable. The really small ones you can just wipe aside. And I have a little trash can down here that I always sort of brush everything into. Make sure marker caps are on and glue stick caps so we're not drawing out our glue stick. Once everything's back the way it was, putting everything away, then we can play with our awesome little penguin friends. You can give them all names and they can all live in a village together and kind of have fun together. So, they're super fun intro to winter. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, my name is Miss Allie, and this is our paper roll penguins. Reusing materials like paper rolls and other household materials to make super fun crafts. I would love to see what you made, so if you want to post a picture in the comments of this video, I'd love to check out your cute little penguin. And we always have videos every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 p.m. during the week. So please check out our other videos upcoming this week, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for any of our past videos. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to catch you soon. Have fun making your penguin, and I'll see you soon.